Hello there, this is David from David Books and Comics, and what you're looking at is the very first issue of Creepy, published by a company called Warren Magazines. And let's see, this is a paperback edition. Some of the stories that are in here and here's the rough copy of this, and see some of the stories in here. Yeah, one of the best is Steve Ditko's Collector's Edition, written by Archie Goodwin. The art is Steve Ditko, and it has some Frank Frazetta art. You can see which appeared in one of the Creepy editions, and it's probably one of these that I have here. This is the issue number 1 of Creepy, and it features some great artists. You have people like Wally Wood, Angelo Torres, Reed Crandall, Frazetta, Alex Toth, Al Williamson. So it's a who's who of one of the great artists in comic books. So Creepy is like the old EC from the 1950s, EC Comics. This is number 1. Cover art is by a guy named Jack Davis. So let's see what's in here. So you have Voodoo, H2 World, Vampires Fly at Dusk. There's the Werewolf story by Frazetta. You have Bewitched, Success Story, and Pursuit of the Vampire. So this one is Voodoo. A great cover art. This was comic books that were aimed at an adult audience. The cover artist, the artist is Joe Orlando. So this was number 1, 35 cents. See, 1964. It's a nice comic book. Your typical, I should say, not your typical horror. All right. I just wanted to flip through the cover art. And here's Al Williamson and Roy Krenkel in H2 World. This one's a Lost World fantasy. And you can see the detail. And this is Vampires Fly at Dusk. And I believe that story is in here. Yeah, on page 62. Archie Goodwin wrote a lot of these stories. I first came across Reed Crandall's work in Classics Illustrated, where he did some of the interior artwork. Incredible draftsmanship. And kind of a sad tale. Kind of finding out, I don't want to spoil the story for you, but it's a beautiful love story, actually. And there's the Munsters. And I think it's promoting Monster World, yeah, Not Famous Monsters of Filmland. And there's Frank Frazetta in all his glory, signed. And this was, I believe, the last interior artwork he would do, or among the last interior artwork he would do. Story is by Larry Evie. It's called Werewolf. You can tell who kind of is the villain of the piece. Incredible artist. There. It's a shock ending. I won't say any more than that. And there's Gray Morrow. This is called Bewitched. Larry Evie is the writer. And Success Story. This one is Al Williamson. 8mm movies, black and white, far cry from the old. The 8mm is a far cry from what we have now. There you go. That's issue number 1. Some great stories. And that's how it ends. And here's Pursuit of the Vampire. Angelo Torres is the artist. So when you have black and white, you depend a lot for the storytelling and the draftsmanship on the inking. Just brilliant stuff. All right, so that's that. That's issue number 1. And I have issue number 2. This is issue number 2 with cover art by Frank Frazetta. And I do believe it has one story that has interior artwork that we are going to look at. One story that has interior artwork by Frank Frazetta. A one-pager, I think. Tales of suspense, horror, mystery, the unknown, the weird. So issue number 2, 1965. And so here we have the stories. Fun and Games. Creepy's Loathsome Lore. Spawn of the Cat People. Wardrobe of Monsters. Creepy's Loathsome Lore. That's that. Welcome Stranger. I, Robot. And Ogre's Castle. That's the back page, by the way. These are great, great issues. Okay, let's see. First story, Fun and Games, Archie Goodwin and Joe Orlando. Already it was one of the more popular with all kinds of letters from all over North America. All right, so Fun and Games. You can tell that the inking, the black and white, depends a lot on the inking. And the inking is light. It doesn't take away from the type of paper that's used. And there's Spawn of the Cat People. Some of these stories, yeah, this is Loathsome Lore. Bob Lubbers is the artwork, does the artwork here. And this is Spawn of the Cat People. Some of these stories are Archie Goodwin did the writing, but they're actually stories that were written by people like Bram Stoker. Some of these in some of the early issues of Creepy. So these are the first 6 issues of Creepy. This is Wardrobe of Monsters. This is a story by Otto Binder, and art is by Gray Morrow. All right, I thought you might want to enjoy this incredible artwork. Just incredible artwork. Lots of attention to detail. And here's another Frazetta. This is interior artwork by Frank Frazetta. And this is Creepy's Loathsome Lore. And now a few words about werewolves. Drag from Creepy's Loathsome Lore. As you know, some of my best friends are werewolves. And if any of you monsters think they don't exist, outside this dungeon. Well, read on. So there you go. Interesting stuff. And there's Welcome Stranger, Art L. Williamson. You can see the inking, or kind of the black and white coloring. It doesn't, like the line drawings really stand out. Black and white doesn't hide. So here's this is an adaptation from an original story. Copyright is 1965. This is Joe Orlando. This guy here, Adam Link, Adam Link is called. He's a recurring character in these early issues of Creepy. This is iRobot by Iando Binder. Iando Binder. It's Earl and Otto Binder. Yeah, this is an Adam Link story. It's kind of his origin story. All right, he's a recurring character in the following pages, in the following issues, I should say. This is Ogre's Castle. Angelo Torres did the artwork. Yep, these black and white issues are just amazing. Amazing, amazing. All right, so that's that. That's issue number 2. Cover art, Frank Frazetta. Issue number 3. Cover art, Frank Frazetta. Issue number 4. Beautiful cover. And that's Frank Frazetta's cover art. Issue 5. Signed, Frazetta, Weird and Haunting Tales of Fright. For only 35 cents. How about that? And here's another one. More pages, more stories, more fear. This is Creepy number 6. Great issues. I give you a little taste of what they're like. And some of the Frazetta ones in particular, the Frazetta cover art issues in particular, are more expensive than the first issue. But like I said, it has a recurring character. Adam Link appears in some of the stories, recurring stories that happen in that are chronicled in the first 6 issues of Creepy. I have some older issues of Eerie. I think the oldest I have is number 8. All published by a company called Warren. What was Warren Magazine was trying to do was recover that old style EC horror issues and science fantasy, science fiction issues that EC published way back in the 1950s, and then eventually led to the Comics Code. But these books never needed the Comics Code because they were always aimed for an adult audience. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very short look at Creepy, one of the great Warren magazines, especially the early issues that feature some of the best draftsmanship that you can find in comic book art. All right, so that's that, and I'll give you a little foretaste. So these are the later issues, which I don't have, but you notice that these are all Frazetta. Okay, and this is Wally Wood's classic, Steve Ditko and Archie Goodwin's classic tale called the Collector's Edition. So there's the Collector's Edition, ready for some rare ravings, those of you who like collecting books. From my bookshelf of fearful fiction, this one's extra special for all you patrons of the pulsating. You're going to join a real connoisseur of occult offerings and track down page by page the horror of the collector's edition. All right. This is indeed a collector's edition. And there he is. And of course, he's buying an occult hardcover book. All right. It's for you to read, and it's in this edition of paperback. I don't know how rare these are, but there's a nice clean copy of that. Well worth looking out for is this paperback, which captures some of the best stories in these first issues of Creepy. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this little look at the first 2 issues of Creepy with some great artwork by some great artists. And thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the subscriptions, and as always, thanks for the comments. Okay, bye.